So here we go, this is my review on the Nissan NV200 van. Mine is a new one, a 67 plate, so I just had this for about 3 months now. My overall impression of this van is that it's very good. Lovely to drive, very economical. The lowest I've got miles per gallon out of it is 47 miles to the gallon. So it's very good indeed. I quite like the shape of it. The one thing I will say is it takes absolutely tons of equipment. Quite considerably bigger than a Citroen Berlingo, and miles per gallon wise it's actually better than the Berlingo that I had before with a 1.6 engine. This has got a 1.5 litre engine, which I believe is a Renault engine. But yeah, it's great. Side loading doors, which I was always dead against side loading doors, but now I've got a van with side loading doors, I don't think I'd ever have one without. So very, very impressive. The things I don't like about the van are all stupid little things that I think Nissan have made some very basic mistakes on, and they're all really interior things. So some of the things I don't like, one, exterior, there is only one, and that's the mirrors. The mirrors do not adjust enough for someone of my height. All I can see is down the side of the van, which is something you don't want to be able to see. You want to be able to see the lane next to you. And if you're a big tall driver like me, I'm 6'4", I find that that is not good enough. So it's one thing that I wish they adjusted a little bit further out, but they don't. Other things that I don't like, they're all really stupid things. They're all cab related. Now, as a professional driver who's on the road constantly, say hello to my lovely dog, this is Dixie. Dixie sits in the front seat here, and what I've done is I've extended the seat by putting a puffy down in this area here so it goes up high. But this is the single biggest problem. This is my centre console. Now, the centre console does not have a box. It has this stupid little thing at the back, which is about as much use as a chocolate fireguard. If you put a can in it, it's going to fall out. You can put them sideways, but it's not very good. And what I have found is when you do put stuff in here, when you hit the brakes, because it's got a smooth lip here, everything that's in there ends up in the footwell, and that's very bad from the point of view of being a driver. It's a really stupid mistake. Now, some of the things I really like about this van are its economy. As I said earlier, I think the lowest I've ever seen on this is 47 miles to the gallon. And if I switch on now, you should see my dashboard, and I think at the moment it says 47.7, so that's pretty good. Now, the things I don't like, one of them is this awful little reversing camera. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to see this, but when you click in reverse, a little camera comes up there. You can probably just see it now. Now, the camera itself gets very dirty very quickly because it's on the back door right underneath the kind of number plate, so quite often you have to go outside and clean the camera lens before you can use it. That, I think, is a bit stupid. It would have been quite nice if they'd made like a water jet or something off the off a rear windscreen wash, something like that would have cleaned the camera. That would have been a very handy thing. Single most annoying thing I find about this van is the way that you have to switch off the ultrasonic alarms. When you've got a dog, if obviously you close the doors and the alarm's activated, as soon as the dog moves, bingo, your alarm's going off and you're annoying all your neighbours. You have to press this stupid little button here. You turn the key off, press that button within 2 seconds, and you've got to leave the van within 5 seconds and lock it, and this little light will flash once to tell you that you've achieved that. So it does work, but it's a fiddle. It's why they don't put it on the remote control. I don't know. The other annoying thing is, as you saw just a minute ago, I pressed off the AC button. Whenever you do certain things on the controls here, when you switch this off, if you do certain things, it comes back like that, all on its own, which I find annoying. Why can they not just have it that you press the button when you want the AC to work and not when you don't? Single biggest complaint in this vehicle is storage. There is an under-seat storage area on both seats. There's like a funny little drawer underneath the driver's seat, which you cannot use when you're driving because it would be extremely dangerous to do so, and it only holds some small cans like air freshener or something like that you would have in your car. Not very good from that point of view. Up top, storage area here, box of business cards, a razor, that's about it. I've started using this area, a bit of shoe on this side, there's a little sort of downward dip there, and that's where I've ended up putting all my phones and other bits and pieces, which is not probably the best place to put it, but it does the job. One thing I will commend Nissan on is their cup holders are deep enough that even when you go around corners the can will not fall over. I just wish that all manufacturers made a smaller circumference hole in the middle for accommodating smaller cans, but this is quite a deep holder. It must be 3 to 4 inches, so a can will not fall over in either little cup, so that's one of the positive sides to it. I bought the top of the range one because it's got air conditioning in it. It's got the reversing camera, which I hate, but I use the mirrors and wish that they'd just left the camera up here, because apparently in the previous model this used to have a nice big touchscreen radio with a full-size screen for your camera, which would have been a lot more useful. The 2017 model, they actually went back a step and went to this awful system that they've done now, and there's no reverse parking sensors on this one either. Other things that doesn't have: no mirror for doing your hair and stuff like that if you want to do that, which of course if you're a driver you want to look reasonable when you go in to see your customers. And I don't like the way you have to put bits of paper in. The old flap thing that used to stuff stuff behind works very well, and the one that Nissan do doesn't work very well, and it's awful. I mean, I absolutely hate it. It's just useless. What else do I like about this van? Pretty much everything. Seats adjust quite nicely. It goes back quite a long way. Everything is controlled on the steering wheel, the radio, cruise control, which is on this as well. Cruise control I absolutely love. I think for economical driving it's very good to have. Electric windows on this one as well, which is very nice. But yeah, all in all, an exceptionally good van. The amount of space in the back is absolutely beyond belief. It's takes an absolute load of stuff, takes more weight than a Citroen Berlingo, which is the other advantage in this one. And as I say, economy is really the key to this. One other thing which I can't show you at the moment because the engine's actually hot, but on the display here, when you first start your engine up, you'll see a little warning light in blue that's obviously a water temperature gauge. Now the first time I saw this I thought, oh Christ, it must be out of water, but it's far from the truth. The actual fact of the matter is it's just telling you that your engine's cold. Well, when you first start a car up from scratch, you'd expect it to be cold, especially on a cold winter's day, and then that light will eventually go off once your car reaches temperature. But I cannot see the point in having that light because it's basically stating the blatantly obvious. Another storage area they have is underneath here. You can't really see it at the moment because of the way that I've done my dog's bed, but under there's another little area, but it's tiny and all but useless. And then I must talk about door pockets. These door pockets here are absolutely tiny, and they are so far down the door. When you close the door, you see what I have to do? You have to put my Kit Kat in the door holder because there's nowhere else to put it. But if you see how far away that is, for me to actually stretch down here to actually put anything in this pocket is extremely hard. And I just think that's been very badly thought. And oh, my other major gripe is the electric windows holder. Obviously, with the shape of this is where it used to have a windy handle. Now you would think, yeah, okay, that's great, but where does it go? Right next to my knee. So when you're driving down the road, particularly a bumpy road, your knee is continually banging against this thing, and it's a pain in the backside. So what I have done to fix that problem, I have got a piece of this, and what I do is I do that, and now it's nice and soft. But Nissan, come on. This is the place where everyone's knee is going to sit. Why did you put a hard plastic surface right up against someone's knee? It just makes it extremely uncomfortable. Height adjustable headlights just on the right there, and you've got your mirrors there, which you can do left and right mirror, adjust both of them, so that's all very good. But I think that's really basically it. I've never been a fan of this style vents. When I got this van brand new, you'll see one of them in the middle there is actually in the wrong place. It's broken. I've still to get a set of pliers and zip in there and put it in the right hole. But the ones on a Citroen Berlingo are much better. It's a solid ball that cannot be broken. These I find are a little bit flimsy. It's the other thing that I don't like, but if you never need to do anything with them, then, you know, it does the job. What else have we got? I think really that's about it for this van. It is very good. It's just the stupid things, and I wish companies would make dashboards non-slip. That's actually what this matting stuff is for. It's to actually make your dashboard non-slip, but it's now become my my knee protector for when I'm driving, so it does that job instead. But as you can see, paperwork is sitting up on top of the dash where the fresh air should be coming to keep the window nice and clean, because this van has just no storage. It's atrocious for that. Apparently in the old model there used to be a big box that sat in here, and you could put 2-litre bottles of Coke, and all professional van drivers, I'm sure, will agree with me that you live in your van, which means you need to have your water, your Coca-Cola, places to put food and all that kind of stuff, and this van basically fails at that. I mean, at the back here I've got my torch and I've got my bottle sat in a place it's not supposed to sit, but it does there, and that's the only place you can put it. So storage wise, this van's a disaster. There's no overhead locker up here like there are in some vans, and that's really my biggest complaint. But with the exception of that, I would say the Nissan NV200 is an exceptionally good van. Its road holding is phenomenal, and the one thing I'll say about it, recently we had a lot of very bad snow, and this thing goes through snow like you wouldn't believe. Even with standard tyres on it, this van was great in the snow. But when the snow was really bad, I actually put Michelin Cross Climate tyres on it, which I have to say are the best thing I ever did. They're great in the wet, they're great in the dry, and they're phenomenal in snow. Not as good as a full snow tyre, but they do enough for what we need in Scotland weather-wise. Drivability of this is great. It's a nice, comfortable ride, especially when you've got a load, and it's a little bit bouncy when you're driving along the road without a load in the back. But when you're fully laden, it sits quite nicely on the road, and it corners amazingly well, and the steering is so direct in this, it's like driving a go-kart. Engine, I got the 110 horsepower version of the 1.5 litre engine, which, to be quite honest, I don't know why they don't just make that standard across the entire range. Why would you want a lesser powerful engine that actually delivers less miles per gallon? The 110 horsepower engine actually is the most economical unit, and it's also the fastest unit, and this thing really does shift. It's I've never had an issue with it overtaking or anything like that. It really goes like the clappers. So 48 miles to the gallon, and something that goes like a rocket and holds a lot of stuff, I think ticks really a lot of boxes. And the other thing I think I'll say about Nissan is 5-year, 100,000 mile warranty. It was one of the biggest buying decisions that I had when I bought this. I thought I want a van that's going to be reliable and it's never going to give me problems, and it's covered by a very long warranty. And 5 years in a van certainly seems to be, as far as I could see, the longest of any warranty that was available. So I would say, from that point of view, definitely good. Headlights, extremely good, extremely bright. Windscreen washers, good, hidden down behind the bonnet, but they still freeze up in the winter unless you use decent antifreeze. I use the yellow stuff that you can buy that's down to about -10, and that's never frozen yet, so very happy with that. What else can I tell you about this? I think really that's about it. I mean, it is an exceptionally good van. Comfy seats. Oh, engine noise. It's got a kind of a boominess about it, I would say, when you're pushing it, but nothing that would cause you any great problems. You know it's there, and but on normal kind of cruising, it's you know, averagely quiet, but it's a little bit boomy when you put the foot down on it. But it's the first time I drove it, I thought it maybe got a broken exhaust, and that's where the boominess was coming from, but it's not. It's just the way it drives. So that's really about it. As far as how much stuff you can get in the back, I think I'll actually, I'll show you. I mean, I work as a mobile DJ, and I carry loads and loads of stuff in my van. So I will just let you see what's in the back of my van just now. So double click to open the back doors of the van, and you'll see my van is absolutely up to the roof with stuff. I mean, it's my deck stand and all my other bits and pieces, my Yamaha mixer, but I mean it's literally chock-a-block. These big long metal poles are about 2 meters long, and edge to edge you can get it in the back of this van, no problems at all. It's very good. I also like the locking mechanisms on these. It really is quite a substantial thing. The only downside to it is that it does hit you in the head if you make the mistake of going too close to it, which I've done. One small door, one big door, and if you want to open the doors up, you just press that little button there, then you can open the door wide like that. So there you go, that's what that looks like. But nice low load height, so if you've got something particularly heavy to go in your van and you don't want to lift it like really far off the ground, this is great. Doors close lovely on this van. Really nice feel about them. Side doors the same. Let's just see if I've got much stuff in here. There we go, there's my pair of speakers that are sitting in the side door. As you see, when I close the van, they have a nice sound to them. It's a nice reassuring clunk, and they close every time more or less, no problem at all. So there we go, that's my review on the Nissan NV200, and I hope one of the executives from Nissan watches this review and decides to fix the problem with storage in this van, because with that exception, and the mirrors, and you see there's a view of my mirror, I can see nice along the side of the van, but I would just wish that at the angle I'm sitting now, I can't see enough of the road. I'm in a lay-by at the moment, and I would like to see the car that's literally about to overtake me, because that's the one that you don't want to miss, because if you turn into the outside lane and he's there, you've got an accident. So really, biggest complaints, mirrors and storage, and the dreadful reversing camera, which is about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. But with that, I think that's about it. I think it's a pity that they took away the decent touchscreen stereo that had the reversing camera built into it, and the centre console, which has been changed from something that was apparently quite good to this awful thing that's really useless. So there we go. Nissan NV200 2017. This is supposed to be the Tekna model that I've got here, so it's the top of the range one. So I hope my video interview has been of help. I would say if you're looking for a small van, I would say this is the one to buy. I think this is far better than the Citroen Berlingo, far better than the Ford version, which I think is what's it they call the new one? I'm sure you'll know, I forgot the name of it just now. But yeah, better than that. I think this is by far the best van, longest warranty, and I would thoroughly recommend it. There you go, thanks a lot.